This is the Drivetron electric scooter. Let's open it up, get it ready for the road, take it for a spin, and do a full review. Before I look inside here, I really don't know what this is gonna look like. But what I can tell you is it's heavy. So whatever it is, I'm guessing it's got a big battery and a big motor. So let's go. 1 brick, 3 amp hours, toolkit, and a manual. Another charging brick. Holy jumping, this thing's enormous. I'm gonna need a little bit of help here, so I'm gonna have Melissa just drop the camera for a sec. The kickstand's all covered in tape, so I'm just gonna cut that all off here. Wow, that's really big. No wonder it weighed a lot. It's got great big 11-inch tires, huge battery, big motors front and rear, 4 screws with Loctite, blue Loctite already pre-applied. Alrighty, let's turn it on. Oh, NFC tags. Oh, that turned it on perfectly. We've got 3 different gears, Eco, Standard, and Turbo. We've got a light. So it's got indicators up here on the handlebars, which is really handy. Full review of the Drivetron coming up now. I'm super excited today. Today, we're not taking out a beast, we're taking out Godzilla. This thing is a monster. I've had an opportunity to ride some amazing and super powerful scooters. Things like the Dualtrons, the Victors, the X. I've done Blades, GTs, I've done Tevrons, and they're all amazing and super powerful. But this is actually an electric scooter designed for big guys like me. I'm 265 pounds and 6 feet tall, and it's just got a bunch of things with it that it allows you to get into an electric scooter. If you're a bigger guy, it's gonna let you get into a bigger, more powerful electric scooter than perhaps you thought you could get into. Because I'll tell you, some of these other electric scooters, they're huge money. And this is actually pretty reasonably priced. I'm gonna share with you what I like and what I don't like about this particular electric scooter. It's called the Drivetron. It's the DT06, I think. If I'm wrong, I'll put that up there as well. What I wanna share with you as well is there are 2 things I've never seen on an electric scooter before. So I'm gonna share with you those coming up. I'm gonna ride around Victoria. We're gonna experiment with it. I am not, I repeat, not going to be doing a high-speed test. This thing has got way too much power. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I don't recommend anybody does it. If you are going to do speed tests, make sure you're wearing full leathers, helmet, crash, wrist guards, the whole bit. Anywho, let's go take a look. Appropriate that I'm actually shooting this in a cemetery, because I have a feeling that if you're not dressed appropriately, you can pick out your own plot here. So I should share with you that the Drivetron is absolutely designed for big guys. It's got twin 1350 watt motors at either end of this. Honestly, I've been riding around in maximum power today on a couple of occasions, and it is absolutely frightening. It's got so much power. So 1350 watts, it's got a nice big battery. It's got a 23 amp hour battery, 60 volts, which is kind of unusual. You typically see 48s and 52s. 60 is sort of at the higher end. There is a 72 option, so a 72 volt option in some of the bigger units, but 60 volts it's a big option. And it's got a maximum capacity, a maximum weight capacity of 330 pounds. So, you know, that in and of itself is extraordinary. So, you know, so if you're a big guy, and I've done some measurements. So for example, from the base up to the handlebars, if you're a taller individual, this will actually fit most people. It's about 40 inches. Now I've had experiences where I've had scooters that have like 36, 37, 38 inch height for the handlebars, and that makes a big difference. It means that your center of gravity, your grip, and especially when you're doing things a little bit more powerfully, it's a little bit nerve-wracking if you're taller. So the 40 inches, that's absolutely ideal. I do want to share with you a little coming up a little bit later on, these 2 sort of things I've never seen with an electric scooter before. I'm going to share with you that a little bit later on. And I also did want to share with you the brakes. The brakes on this thing are hydraulic, and they are no name, but they work really, really well. And I know this from experience, actually just riding over here today. I had an emergency and I had to put the brakes on and boom. Anywho, let's do a couple of things. We'll do a brake, sort of brake shocks. Yeah, let's do a brake and shocks sort of example of what they're like. And then we'll continue on. I'll show you the little mystery, two little mystery things about it, and we'll keep going. And at the end of it, I'm going to show you what I like and what I don't like. Come up next. Hey, Robin. How you doing? I'm good. The Drivetron has quite a robust suspension. Just check it out. It's adjustable and it's so comfortable. Like, I was going over some of the speed bumps. I hit some of the gravel. I was going through the cemetery area. All those little bumps, it had no problems keeping what you want there, right, is you want that rubber to just stick to the pavement, and that's what this suspension is doing. It's snapping you right back down, and it's really comfortable as well. I'm just gonna take a quick run over here. I'm not gonna go particularly fast. I'm probably gonna come back here going around 32 kilometers an hour, which is what, about 20 miles an hour. I'm gonna come right in front of Eric here. I'm gonna lock up the brakes. I just wanna show you how powerful these brakes are. Let's get that done. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. I do like hydraulic brakes, especially if you're on a super powerful motor like that, or like hydraulic brakes make all the difference. We've just been out riding, and I want to say thank you. Paul stopped and had a couple of quick questions. He wanted to show us his electric ride, but Paul said something really interesting. And before I ask him the question, if you do see me out and about, stop and say hello. I've already had a couple of people stop and say hello, that they watch the channel, Tim's Electric. That's awesome. Thank you for watching, Paul. Now, Paul said something interesting. He used to ride bikes, but now you ride scooters, and you said that we don't have to get into the...
it's a medical issue.
It's a medical issue. Yeah, it's a medical issue as to why. But what's it allowed you to do now? Is it giving you some...
it's giving me my freedom back.
Give me 1 second. Really. I'm just going to give you the mic here.
Because it's giving me my freedom back because, like I used to race. I was a bicycle courier. And then I got, medical issues, and it just, it is out. The bike seats are out for me. So the stand-up thing, it works. And, I went through trying different levels of scooters. And I'm so glad that I spent a little bit extra money and got one that had a little more power, because it's given me the ability to cruise around town. I can get out to my fishing spot without having to lock up my car, catch a trout, and home again for free, basically.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing, right? Mm-hmm. It gives you that freedom.
I
love that. This is
one of the best things I've ever bought in my life. And I'm not that young.
No, I'm not that young either. Paul, I think at the end of the day, it's so refreshing to hear, because I know that Eric and I were riding around and we're just like, oh, this is so much fun. And scooters are just, they give you that extra freedom.
It's like Victoria's made for it too, but anywhere. Like I watched guys riding this kind of a scooter in the snow. I don't think I'd do it fast, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is without a doubt, talk about living in the moment. Yeah. And people think that they might not be safe, but honestly, I'm quite stable on this thing, and I can go slow or pretty fast, even maybe too fast. But it's not an issue of safety. It's just once you get used to it, it's just a breeze. It's awesome. It's like I'm riding around. I've got the fan on me though all day, and on the hot sun. You can go outside, feed your oxygen addiction. We all have it, and get some fresh air on you too. And it's just like I'm riding around with a fan on me. Although if I stand too still talking on the camera,
it's warming up right now, Paul. Yeah,
sure
but I do also want to say, and this is something else I say whenever I see people out there riding. I love to see that he's wearing a nice big helmet. He's got some protection on his hands. He happens to be wearing long pants and a nice jacket.
When you start to go fast, you need to have your arms covered for branches and your legs covered. You don't want road rash. And I mean, I've seen some guys that are wearing full body armor in scooters that are slower than this, and I think good for them,
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate taking the time.
Pleasure.
Have an
Keep
awesome
up the
day.
good work. We'll see you out there.
Take care. Cheers. Thanks again. That was really kind of you. So this should have absolutely no troubles going right up the hill of death here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send Eric up in the with the GoPro facing back towards me, and I'm just gonna chase him up to the top, see what happens. I'm in gear number 3. And there he goes.
The Hill of Death.
And I'm gonna pass him on the left. It absolutely smoked the Hill of Death, which is what I kind of expected. 1,350 watts times 2. Even with my math, that's like a lot. 2,700 watts. And I'm not even sure if that's peak or the actual set amount. But either way, it's got oodles and oodles of power. So while we're in front of these beautiful houseboats, I wanted to share with you the 2 things I've never seen on an electric scooter. Before I do that though, I do want to mention, it does have NFC tags, which is super fast, super easy to turn on your electric scooter with. And it's got these huge 11-inch tires, contributing to a smooth ride. That coupled with these brakes, I know I keep talking about these brakes, but oh my gosh, I absolutely love hydraulic brakes. And even though they look to me to be a no-name hydraulic brake, it's still really nice to have. The other thing, as I mentioned, is that it has indicators, and these indicators are in the exact right spot. Eric, super helpful filming behind the camera, was mentioned, he's like, if there's anywhere you want indicators, it's up here. Down here on the ground isn't that useful. Most cars can't see them anyway. Anywho, mystery number 1, or the first thing I've never seen, it's got a lock. It's got a little wire here, which I can unplug, press the button, set this to, I think it's 000, press the button, that unlocks it, and then I've got a wire cord that I can wrap around like a pole or something like that. Now, I think that's really cool, but it's kind of impractical because it's a really skinny little cord or little piece of wire, which, you know, you can cut that fairly easily. You know, props for them for trying to make it a little bit more secure. Maybe if you're somewhere where you can just do it for 2 seconds, but even then, I'm not gonna risk it. I would be definitely doing a proper bike lock. And if you're not sure what kind of lock to get for, especially if you're gonna spend money on a quality electric scooter, you wanna make sure it's there when you come back outside. I've got some recommendations. I'm gonna have those down below. I highly recommend the Kryptonites. They're fantastic, but I've got links to the actual ones down below. The second thing has to do with folding it. I've never seen this before, but let me show you. To release it at the front, I've seen these. This is quite common. I've got this on my Polos. I've got this on a number of electric scooters. And then we've got this little piece here, and you're thinking, well, where's that gonna go? You come over here, you pull a little bit of rubber back, slide this in, and there's a little piece here that pulls out, and you scoot it into like that.
A few moments later.
There it is. And now it's locked into place. And it weighs about 80 pounds. So this could be heavy. Yeah, it's heavy. It's gonna be okay to carry up a few stairs. Maybe manage to stick it into the trunk of your car. But it's really solid, kind of peculiar. And then the reverse, of course, it's up. I thought it was unusual, if I'm honest. I thought it was a little bit weird, but it works. So even though I've never seen it before, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Kind of original, if I'm actually honest about it. I would never have come up with that myself as a solution for folding, but it's pretty robust. And having that metal pin that goes through, yeah, it's pretty nice because it means it's not gonna unfold as you're carrying it up some stairs. So yeah, those 2 things I've never seen before. Have you seen them? So, it's come to this. What did I like? What didn't I like about the Drivetron? I think it's so important for reviewers to actually get out there and try something, because when I saw the stats on this, I thought it was probably gonna be too powerful. When I first got on it, I thought it's definitely too powerful. But now that I've ridden it around and I've tried it out, I can see why somebody would want this much power. Now, so for example, if you're a bigger guy like myself or even bigger, something like this is absolutely amazing because you never have to think about it. You know you've got the range, you know you can go up the steep hills without any issues whatsoever. I found the ride on this was absolutely delightful. I'm trying to come up with a negative. I don't really have a negative. I did find like I can't be in gear 3, full power, and go off the line. It's way too powerful for that. But I could just drop it down to gear 2. And then when I'm in gear 2, if I need a little bit more power, if I want to pull out and do a little bit more, acceleration, I can do that. Drop it into 3rd gear and give it the beans, no problem. It's kind of heavy, but again, it's going to be heavy, right? I mean, it's got twin 1350 watt motors and it's got a great big battery. It's a bit, the huge tires, 11-inch tires, love those. I love the suspension, I love the brakes. The display, not the brightest display, but it's acceptable. I could see how fast I was going when I was riding around. The horn, it's somewhat anemic. It's not frightening anybody, which is probably actually a good thing. I love the lighting, this bluish, purplish lighting at night. It looks amazing. And, the headlight it's okay. It's not super bright, but it'll work. So if you're a bigger guy and you're looking for something to get you around town, I'm gonna give this 2 thumbs up, big guy approved. 100%. Love it. I love the fact that manufacturers are thinking about big guys riding around on electric scooters, and they're coming out and they're reaching out to a big guy and saying, hey, look, we've made this for big guys. Can you test it out? I tested it out and I loved it. So 2 thumbs up, big guy approved.
Big guy approved.